If you're like most people, you want to know how to improve time management. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to know how to improve time management. Time is money. And to ensure you're as profitable as possible, learning how to manage your time efficiently is one of the best foundational investments you can make. Today, we're going to cover the following 3 tenets of time management. Number 1 is failing to plan is planning to fail. Number 2, the right type of multitasking. And number 3, keep it simple. So stick with us to the end when you'll learn how to validate your weekly plan.
Hi, I'm Deidre Harder, a CPA and business strategy coach. And this is my partner, Carmen Reed Gilkison, a certified whole person coach. We started our business, Encore Empire, to help women in midlife who want to grow a profitable online business in a way that leverages their unique life experience and honors their values to provide the financial and time freedom they have worked so long and so hard to attain. So let's dive right into tenet number 1. Failing to plan is planning to fail. I'm sure you've heard that in the past, but it is so incredibly true when you think about it. Planning is one piece of it, but plans will always change. There are so many ways to plan and manage your time through calendars, planners, whether it's digital or otherwise. And we're not here to go over all the different ways, but what we are here to do is to emphasize that no matter what system you use, it's imperative that you do these 3 things. The first is make the time to plan and review. Now, this is best done during quiet time. It's not something that you can do while listening to something else. Like, this is really thinking time, and you need to be very focused. In this time, don't just focus on the tasks at hand that need to get done, but focus on the objectives that you want to accomplish, whether you're planning your week or planning your month. Now, number 2, have a system that works for you and is very specific. And when I say specific, I mean that you know exactly what you should be doing every single time that time comes up for you to do that thing. Because what happens is if you spend your time trying to figure out what you should be doing, you are wasting so much time. And all it requires is planning ahead. The third thing is execute the plan. Now, things may change and things come up, during the day, during the week. But if you are clear on your objectives for the day or the week, and those objectives are the bigger goals, not the tasks, but like what result do you want to get by the end of the day or by the end of the week, then when you get pulled off course, you can hop right back on track. Now, as a business owner, it is all too easy to get sucked into either over planning or winging it and just taking things as they come. Well, neither one is a good way to operate. It seems there are 100 things to do every single week, but don't be a firefighter. And what I mean is, don't just take things that they come as they come and, jump to the latest and the loudest thing that's trying to get your attention. You have to limit your distractions, and you have to be very intentional about this. You must create the time and space you need to do those things that move you toward your goal. You are in control. You may not be controlled by the things that come up unexpectedly, but you are in control of what you do when that's over and putting things off that don't absolutely have to get done. If they're not part of your goal and objective, it can wait. And that's the plan. Now, efficiency and effectiveness are not the same thing. Efficiency is defined as the ability to accomplish something with the least amount of time wasted time, money, or effort. Effectiveness is defined as the degree to which something is successful in producing a desired result. So what does that mean? It means that they're not the same thing, but it's the combination of both. You need them both to create success. And planning will ensure that you're effective. So now let's talk about efficiency.
So tenet number 2, the right type of multitasking. Okay, multitasking has been proven to be inefficient. However, we're here to tell you that that's not 100% true. There is a right type of multitasking and a wrong type of multitasking. So the right type is doing something like listening to a podcast while cooking dinner or exercising. The wrong type is trying to do 2 things that require brain power. It's proven that you can only focus on one thing at a time. You cannot do 2 brain intensive things at the same time. You're just cutting your inefficiency in half at best. So trying to do 2 will only decrease your efficiency every time. Now, it's always a good idea to be introducing new concepts into your understanding of your industry, your marketing, your business in general. And by listening to a podcast, an online course, a program, or even an audiobook, you're able to keep current without sacrificing efficiency. And so when we hear about these people that sit down and read however many books per year, I'm not one who can sit down and read. I have to be listening and doing something else at the same time. But that's the way you can get it in. So I can do my housework and I can be reading a book by listening at the same time. Whatever works for you. On the flip side of that, you have to know yourself. If sitting down and reading and having that concentrated quiet time is what you love, then don't do those 2 things together. Find something else where you don't have to use brain power on 2 different things. Make sure that you're multitasking the right way.
Oh, that's such great advice. So, tenet number 3, keep it simple. I know you've heard this before, but we wanted to go back over it because this is so powerful. It's so simple that sometimes we miss it. Now, your goal is not to overcomplicate things, and it's so easy to do when it comes to time management. So, as we talked about a few minutes ago, we want to be both efficient and effective. Now, I'll share with you what Carmen and I have found to keep things simple and still meet our objectives. And it's time blocking. We have found this to be a highly effective way to make sure that we get everything that we need to do done. And the trick is to first build in your self-care, some buffer time, and a space for different hats that you wear. Now, I like to call that free flow time. So what does that look like? It means when I go to plan my schedule, I have all of the self-care things, eating, sleeping, exercising, all those things that are important, because that should always be number 1. If it's not number 1 and you don't take care of yourself, your business is going to fall apart, right? Because it depends on you. Buffer time is time in between. Don't be so, we all want to, do so much in a day, so that sometimes we'll like put things back to back to back to back. But that's not realistic. You need some buffer time. Not everything is, something that can be done in an hour. It might take an hour and 10 minutes. You need to have that buffer time in there so that you're not feeling stressed and just jumping from one thing to the next. It's the same thing when you're wearing different hats. As a business owner, entrepreneur, a lot of times we have to wear many hats in our business until we scale up to the point where we have a team that can do those things for us. So be sure that you're kind of blocking those things that are like things together. So if you have phone calls to make, do them all at once. If you have some meetings, like make a meeting day. That way you're not like constantly flipping back and forth and your brain's having to switch back and forth on different activities. Now, we also like something called a time audit. And that is simply writing down each task as you do it. And this is going to allow you to capture interruptions to your schedule and things that pull you off track. Now, this is not something you have to do forever, but it is a good way every once in a while to do this audit of your time. Just like financials get audited, you want to audit your time. And by seeing exactly how much time it's really spending you to do things, it's going to help you plan your weeks a whole lot more effectively. This is the way to validate that your plan and your time blocks are working in your favor.
That's right. And to recap, today we have covered Tenet number one, failing to plan is planning to fail. We've heard that and it just makes sense. If you don't have a plan, you're just winging it and there's just so much inefficiency there. When we have a plan, then we know how to use our time wisely and we don't waste time trying to figure out, well, now what do I do? What's the next thing I do? And like Deidre just mentioned a really good point that you want to batch things together so that your brain is not having to use so much energy to figure out, okay, I'm going to go from writing to speaking to figuring this thing out to working on my tech to whatever the other thing is. Failing to plan is planning to fail. So you set the plan that allows you to just follow it with ease and allows you to work as efficiently as possible. And then we talked about tenet number 2, the right type of multitasking. Using the power of multitasking the right way will allow you to be productive without reducing efficiency. And then finally, keep it simple with time blocks and make sure that you have those buffers put in for free flow, time buffers, the buffers. So when Deidre was talking about you plan an hour for something and it takes an hour and 10 minutes, if you have a buffer of an hour in your day or an hour and a half in your day, that buffer can fill that gap. So you can then shift things around a little bit and it allows you to stay on track because you haven't filled your entire day from morning to night with things you have to do, bam, 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 right in a row. You've got the buffer time in case something takes a little bit longer. And then, of course, we want to suggest performing a time audit. And that's the way to confirm that not only are things maybe pulling you, from one task to the other, but there's the whole squirrel syndrome. And I'm guilty of that. Like I'll be doing something and then something pops in my head and I want to go check out what that is. And it's like, I can't do that. You've got to stay focused to be efficient. So time audits allow you to see when are you most susceptible to having those thoughts of, oh, I've got to go check on this now, when no, you should not do that. If you see a pattern after your week of time audit, that's going to help you do a better job at planning.
That's right. Now, if you want to take a deeper dive into increasing your productivity, you can join us in the Empire of Unstoppable Women Facebook group. We have got some fantastic training there on productivity that goes deeper than what we can do here today. There's one video in particular called The Power of Three, and it's an amazing way to increase your productivity. So we hope to see you there. Please join us.